Hi everybody, my name is Sheldon and welcome back to the Polyseam YouTube channel. My goals with this video are to first explain what is GitOps and second how Polyseam's open source tool CNDI enables the GitOps workflow. If you get some value out of the video, drop a like and subscribe to our YouTube channel for more data engineering related content, but let's get right into it. So first let's go over a definition for GitOps. And like many terms, you'll find many different definitions, but this is one that we at Polyseam all agree on. GitOps takes the DevOps process and applies it to managing your infrastructure as code, your Kubernetes cluster, and the applications that run on top of it. I know that definition was full of terms, but we're going to go over each one individually and break them down, starting with DevOps. So, DevOps is a continuous process with the goal of efficiently iterating on code to make it better. Most organizations who use the DevOps approach are likely using Git, whether it's self-hosted or on a platform like GitHub or GitLab. By using Git, your team can effectively collaborate on work, review each other's code, run tests to ensure the code is working properly, and then have that code automatically deployed. Developers being able to own this lifecycle of software development is the core of DevOps. Now that we've went over DevOps, let's talk about infrastructure as code. Infrastructure as code refers to managing the state of your hardware infrastructure from code instead of manual process. It's important to keep in mind that infrastructure as code is just managing your hardware. Software is still not involved yet. Some of the benefits of managing your infrastructure this way include making easy changes to your infrastructure, including if you want to scale it up or scale it down. You can also redeploy infrastructure for common jobs, and it lowers the amount of errors from manual configuration. But this is still only part of the GitOps picture. What really brings it all together is the software running on the infrastructure. Kubernetes is by far the most commonly used platform to deploy applications to the cloud because of its ability to manage a cluster of servers working together to run software. It's also open source and available in every cloud. Kubernetes is managed with configuration files, and traditionally, these files need to be manually applied within the cluster. This means there's no trace of how the cluster has been configured, and the process is very error-prone. And just like we saw with infrastructure as code, the best way to manage changes is to keep those files in Git. By using tools like Argo CD, we're able to automatically sync this configuration into your cluster from your Git repo. This approach of having the cluster synchronize itself is the software component of GitOps. And coupled with the hardware infrastructure as code, our entire system is defined as source code in Git. Because the files are all in Git, we can use a modern DevOps approach to managing the files efficiently. And trust me, I know this is a complex topic, so let's recap our definition now that we've gone over all the individual aspects. GitOps takes the DevOps process and applies it to managing your infrastructure as code, your Kubernetes cluster, and the applications that run on top of it. Essentially, what we're doing is using the DevOps process to manage our hardware and software that run our compute workloads. Now, if you're wondering what tool you can use to really enable the GitOps workflow in your organization, I will now introduce you to CNDI, which was built by Polyseam, and it's a fully open source and totally free tool for everyone to use. CNDI essentially lets you leverage the power of GitOps from one single configuration file. From this file, you can specify the hardware and software aspects of your infrastructure. This file can be generated from answering some interactive prompts in the command line. If you're interested in checking out the project, I'll leave a link below to our GitHub. If you find the project valuable, please start our repo. That also really helps us out. Last thing I want to mention is that since it's an open source project, we're happy to add as many contributors as we can. So if you want to contribute to something in the cloud native space, just take a look at the open issues on our GitHub. And that answers the question, what is GitOps and how CNDI enables the workflow? If you have any comments or questions, you can drop them below and reach out to us, and we will definitely get back to you as soon as we can. Thank you very much for watching, and I hope everyone has an awesome day.